think there's something everyone has to do, although I hope everyone goes to the library.
I heard a lot of students like it, and
That's great to hear. Try and shape your university experience to be the experience you want it to be. I think that's something quite important, and when I did that, it certainly helped me. Would you like to introduce yourself first?
Yes.
Please go ahead.
Hello, I'm Yaram Lee. I'm a freshman majoring in EICC.
Hello, my name is Michael Chesnut. I'm a professor in the EICC department. Very nice to meet you. So would you like to begin?
Yes.
Okay, so our first question is, what do you think of HUFS campus and the neighborhood around HUFS?
Of course, the main building is so beautiful. Another feature that I can think of is that it's not very big, but actually that part felt attractive to me. In January, I visited HUFS, and because of the environment, I felt that all the students were getting along together, and the atmosphere also felt very harmonious.
Yes, I really like the atmosphere on campus. It's really friendly. It's really nice to walk around campus and see groups of students sitting on the green grass with the stairs kind of going down and having interesting conversations. And it's really interesting to hear, of course, Korean, but then sometimes English, Russian, Chinese, Japanese, Swedish. It's really interesting to feel that atmosphere on campus. And then around campus, we have some new buildings, and they're kind of fancy and interesting, and some old traditional neighborhoods that I really like too. So I like that. I like the whole campus neighborhood.
Yes. Maybe I'll like it more when I go to HUFS.
Yes, you'll have to explore everything. What do you want to do in HUFS? Like, what are you most looking forward to doing as a HUFS student?
There are two big things.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is going to the library.
Great.
Actually, in January, I visited HUFS,
Mhm.
and I only saw the exterior of the building. So it was kind of disappointing. So I really wanted to go inside and study drinking coffee and stuff. And the second one is joining a sports club, because in high school, there was no time for doing sports, because it was always sitting at a desk and study. So actually, it doesn't have to be a sports club. I just want to join a club that has a lot of active activities that I can enjoy a healthy college life.
That sounds great, and I'm so pleased to hear you talk about the library. I've been here about 13 years now, so I was here when we had an older library that was still great in some ways, but was an older style building, and now they've renovated it. It was very environmentally consciously renovated as well, and it's a gorgeous building. And I've had a few students over the years who told me, fourth year, I never actually went in the library. I studied elsewhere. I commute a far distance, and I was like, oh, that's too bad, because it's such a great experience to go to a library, do some studying, and check out some books. Even if you can wander around and look through the whole library, it's really neat to encounter some books you've never heard of and go, what is this all about? So that's fantastic. And yes, joining a club, being active, trying to do something new, sports would be great. I like hiking and kind of urban exploring and being active like that. It's so important to do that just for your own well-being. And of course, that later helps with studying and doing well in all sorts of other activities. That sounds fantastic. Yes. Great.
How did you feel when you first came to HUFS?
So I first came to HUFS in about 2010, and I had been in the United States. I was working on my PhD in the United States. I'm actually Canadian, so I was in Korea, then I went to America, then I came back to Korea. And I didn't know much about HUFS. I was looking for different positions, but I found a great position at HUFS. It was really interesting. So the chance to come here was a fantastic opportunity for me. I was really excited about that. When I got to the campus, the first thing you notice is it is quite small, and it's kind of oriented around this open space, and the buildings are all kind of surrounding you. And I found it really interesting. I really liked the neighborhood. I really liked all the language majors. I really liked getting a chance to learn more about all the different professors and areas of expertise and majors here. So that was really interesting to me, just to be here and see some of the developments happening here and meet professors from Scandinavia, India, Egypt. And that was really neat for me. I really liked that. And my expectations was that this was a university oriented towards foreign languages, the world, globalization, and I really got to see that in a bunch of ways. It was really interesting. President Obama came here in my first couple of years, so that was kind of a big shock and surprise. And there was lots of rumors. I'm like, really? He's coming to here? And so that was kind of really interesting and exciting. And to see students' enthusiasm for language and the world, that was really great. So it definitely met my expectations.
It's very interesting.
So I have a question for you, maybe a bit of a tough question. What is your biggest worry or concern as a new student at HUFS?
Since it's the start of college, there are a lot of questions and concerns, but if I pick one, maybe it's about studying, because I've heard that college studies are very different from the one that we did before. So I'm concerned about how to start and how to catch up with classes.
I think that's a good concern. It's always nice when students are focused on their studies and classes. And you're right, you're completely right that I think university classes are going to be very different than high school classes. And I think for some students it is a big shock because they're used to doing very well in high school and they understand the nature of exams and how a class runs and what they have to do to succeed. And they may suddenly feel very uncertain about how do I succeed in a discussion and debate class where we're active all the time, where the exam is focused on speaking or doing these practices. And so one thing to really think about is don't be afraid to speak with your professors. Don't be afraid to speak with older students and get advice, and really try and be active in resolving any uncertainty.
Maybe the students who are worried about asking professors can ask them a lot of questions and solve it from the start.
Yes, solving things early on in the semester is so much better than waiting till week 13 and then speaking to me. And then I realized that we had 13 weeks in which a student really was not making the most of the class. And of course I feel bad and it's a missed opportunity. And so I'd much rather address that issue, week 2, week 3, and we make sure everyone gets on the right path to success. So yes, no, please. I hope most students are intimidated or concerned about speaking to a professor.
Okay. Is there any experience that college students must have during college years?
So I don't think there's any one single experience that every student should have during university. Students are different people with different interests. But what I think every student should do is pursue some interest outside of their major in university, whether that's joining an athletic club or taking a kind of general class that's about something they really care about, but it's not their major, or finding some other outside hobby, something they're passionate about, unrelated to their major, and really pursuing it as a university student through the university. I think that's wonderful and can lead to all sorts of personal development or other interests. So I don't think there's something everyone has to do, although I hope everyone goes to the library. But pursuing an outside interest through university, I think, is a really good thing for everyone to do, whatever that is.
I'll try it.
Great. So I have a question for you. How do you think your time at HUFS will change you?
I think my time at HUFS will be a very big turning point because the environment is very new. For example, living in a dormitory, living away from my family for the first time will make me stand up by myself. In other words, I can be independent. And another example may be an open environment to study, discuss with friends, and have questions and solve it by myself or ask the professor. Maybe those environments can improve me a lot.
I I think that's a fantastic answer. Yes, I think everyone's going to have their own journey at HUFS in university in general, but sort of this open environment that lets people discover better how to understand the world, research different topics, look at things from different perspectives, better understand there's often not just one answer, but many possibilities of different answers, and lots of personal growth too, being independent, building confidence, thinking about your place in the world, and life in general, but university should help you with that process, I think. So that's a great answer.
Thank you.
Is there something you want to tell to HUFS students, something you want to say to students at HUFS?
So this video is actually the first thing I'm doing in college, so it's kind of nervous, but I want to tell the students that the professors are very nice and the campus is very beautiful, so they can be a little bit worried, but I don't think they have to be worried and just be here with expectations.
I think that's a great answer.
Then, is there something that you want to tell to HUFS students?
I think there's lots of things I'd like to say to HUFS students. I'll say some of them in my classes, of course. But I guess the most important thing is to be active. Especially with first-year students, there's a lot happening. The situation can be very intimidating. You're meeting a lot of new people. Everyone has their hopes and concerns. And so I like this idea of being active, trying to engage with your classmates in class and outside of class, explore the campus, go to the library, walk around the different buildings, and even the neighborhood is quite interesting. So grab some classmates. Don't just go out the front gate and have lunch there, but wander around. The neighborhood around HUFS has a lot of sort of secret, interesting areas that are worth exploring with classmates, going for a little hike and seeing what the neighborhood is and what opportunities there are around. And the same for classes, as you look at all the different classes you can take, you have your core major classes, but I've known students who took classes in sports, in philosophy, in business and marketing that are electives, that really got them thinking in new ways, that then helped them in their major and really push them in ways they never thought it would. So be active. Try and shape your university experience to be the experience you want it to be. I think that's something quite important. And when I did that, it certainly helped me a lot.
Thank you for answering.
You're very welcome. Thank you for your wonderful answers. I think that's it. So thanks for watching, everyone. Take care. Goodbye. Welcome to HUFS.